Hi, I'm Valerie, and you're listening to The Beauty Brains. Welcome to The Beauty Brains, a show where real cosmetic chemists answer your beauty product questions and give you an insider's look at the cosmetics industry. This is episode 398. I'm your host, Valerie George, and with me today is Sarah Bellum. Hi, Sarah.
Hey, Valerie. It's good to be here.
Thank you for coming. That's right, guys. Today, Perry was supposed to host the show, but he couldn't make it, and I still don't have the guts to do my own solo episode. So I said, Sarah, please save me and join me, and we'll talk about some fun stuff.
Yeah, always.
Well, first, inane chit-chat. So maybe you guys are wondering why Perry couldn't be here. No, he is not traveling, but someone traveled to him. Yes. He is hosting a joggler from the international joggling community. And guess what they're doing right now? Joggling.
Fair joggling. Yeah. So this person lives in the UK and he came to the US. It's his first time in the US and he's visiting multiple jogglers across the US. So we're on the stop. So he was in Madison. Now he's in Chicago visiting us. And then he's off to Boston. Who knew there was such a large joggling community, Valerie?
Oh my goodness. And he's going to be right on Lake Michigan there. And it's going to be really pretty. Wow.
Yes.
Well, good for them and good for us.
I know.
So we can talk beauty news and product and all that kind of stuff.
Definitely.
Let's jump right in. So as far as beauty news goes, Prose has launched a hair scalp serum.
Yeah.
And they are saying it was the first ever custom scalp serum available on the market. Really? There's never been another scalp serum before that's customizable?
It seems dubious at best.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay. I went online because I've used Prose before, and I'm not going to lie. I'm not a fan of the shampoo. I'm not a fan of the conditioner. I think they're really gross for hair, use over use, and they feel very basic. And I've even gotten a couple ones where I've customized different ones before to different quiz answers. And, you know, can you tell a difference? Not really. But The reason I was interested in this scalp is when I was in my previous life at a salon brand, I actually created a software program. I mean, I didn't do the coding, but basically we took a device and we created an algorithm that allowed the device to image your scalp and detect, using artificial intelligence to detect like different scalp and hair anomalies and make predictions about like what your scalp could need, like what your scalp's concerns were. And we imaged over 7,000 scalps, and we had to look at every image and figure out like, okay, what's happening here and help train the artificial intelligence.
Right.
And that device is no longer on the market, at least under the salon brand that I worked for. But it was interesting. We learned that most people don't actually have a scalp problem. So people would self-report like, oh, I'm sensitive. Oh, I have dandruff. Oh,
Sure.
I have these issues. And the reality is, like, aside from oiliness, people don't really have scalp issues. And so it's interesting that the scalp market has exploded with all these products that honestly, in my opinion, your scalp doesn't really need.
Yeah, 100%. It's just another way to get people to buy more hair care products.
Exactly.
And I've never used Prose personally, but it seems a little gimmicky in my opinion.
Well, for the scalp quiz, it's a very big quiz.
Okay.
And basically you answer a lot of the same questions as the hair, except it goes down to like, do you have hair loss? Does your family have genetic hair loss? How often are you washing your hair? How long until it gets oily again? You know, are you prone to flakiness? Are you sensitive? And by the way, everyone thinks they have a sensitive scalp, but very few people actually have an oily scalp. And so you answer a lot of the same questions. A lot of it is data gathering, in my opinion, because a lot of it isn't actually really relevant to scalp.
Right.
And I mean, it's many questions going into your hair and scalp, treatments you use, styling tools you use. You know, do you wear your hair in any of these styles? Like, what's your lifestyle? How do you live? Are you post-pregnancy? Which could be important for hair loss, but I don't think a scalp serum is going to solve that.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
Are you mostly eating vegetables or protein? Does your hair retain odors? You know, it talks about stress, which is really cool because stress is difficult. for scalp, but if you work out, is it indoors, outdoors? It's just like a really long quiz. And at the end of the day, I just don't know if the scalp product will make a difference. I don't think it'll be so different.
Well, and what are they ultimately like promoting that it's going to do? Like help regrow hair, which seems like that's drug territory. So I'm trying to figure out what the benefits of the scalp serum are.
Well, I guess you wouldn't know until you got one and they told you like the ingredients and the key benefits, right? The thing is, a lot of scalp serums actually use ingredients that I just personally don't recommend for scalp. I actually do a talk. I was in California doing it a few weeks ago. And basically, I think a lot of brands are doing okay on scalp products, but a lot of brands are getting it wrong because your scalp doesn't need exfoliators, especially if you have like dandruff where you have overgrowth and an excessive turnover of skin. You don't need more of that with acids.
Right. Yeah.
You don't need triglycerides, especially if you have a microbial imbalance, because triglycerides feed opportunistic bacteria and yeast.
Sure.
And you don't need physical exfoliants. Most of these extracts can't really get through the scalp skin because it's so thick. In fact, it's about 8 millimeters.
Wow.
Whereas your facial skin, like around your periorbital region, is less than 2 millimeters. So it's like ultra thick to protect your skull. So like, I don't know. I just think there's a lot of areas of opportunity, primarily like in collagen loss and stuff like that. But who knows what they're doing? Yeah. But a lot of people are using things on their scalp they shouldn't. And at the end of the day, you just need a really good, clarifying, sulfated shampoo.
Definitely. And I'm looking at some of these ingredients that they have in there. And it's all, maca root, rice peptides, kombucha tea. It just, I don't know. It seems, like I said, I'm skeptical of this product. And then, Valerie, I saw how much they're charging for it.
Oh, I didn't even pay attention to that. What is it?
If you buy it once, it's $56.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of money for probably water, glycols, and some extracts.
Right. And it's a small little like dropper bottle like you would use for skincare. And I'm still I'm looking at the website. I'm still not quite sure what it does. So that's a problem. And then of course they have a subscription model, which I believe they have for all of their products. Like I said, I haven't used them, but interesting.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it does. I do notice that and I totally forgot about this, they have customizable skincare now as well.
I know. I was surprised. I mean, I knew it was a big deal when they came out with hair care just because of, it actually reminds me of the old Clinique model. You remember you did like the 3-step Clinique skincare and you filled out their little chart. So it just, obviously their survey is more in depth, but it's I don't know. All those questions don't seem to really, unless you're crossing into drug territory with some of those claims, like hair regrowth. I don't know. I'm skeptical. But interesting nonetheless.
Yeah. Well, speaking of shampoos, there was also an article. Perry and I are actually going to cover it next time because he really wanted to cover it. Best shampoos for men in new beauty. And Perry doesn't often talk about products. So hopefully it'll be a good conversation and he can maybe tell us if he's used some, or maybe what his favorite shampoos are. But
yeah, you know what a beauty connoisseur Perry is.
Yeah, his list will be exhaustive.
Yes,
that's for sure.
For sure.
But I was thinking we could talk about our favorite shampoos for women.
Perfect.
Let's start mass market, only because I think it's accessible. It's many places could be purchased. Great price point. But a 100%. Lot of people frown upon mass market products because they're viewed as maybe cheap. They have sulfates, terrible for your hair, full of toxins, which is not true.
Right.
I think Walmart and Target are some of the best places to get shampoos for your hair. So that being said, do you have a favorite mass market shampoo?
100%. And I've used it for many years, Valerie. And I know that the hairstylists will, they frown upon it, but I am a Pantene girl, shampoo and conditioner. I've used it, like I said, for many, many years. And I will try anything, but I always go back to it. And it's funny. I think a lot of the perceptions of mass market products being negative have started with hairstylists. Like, I don't know about you, but my hairstylist was always like, oh, they build up on your hair. It's terrible. The sulfate, obviously I bite my tongue because I already know that that's not true. So But yeah, Pantene conditioner is tried and true. And I know when we worked in the hair care industry, we tested it blind. It was always the top performer from a consumer perspective against salon brands, even in blind testing.
Even if you change the packaging and change the fragrance and show it to a hairstylist, most of them are like, this is pretty good. Like, the hair feels good.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's just like perception.
Yeah.
I remember we did a ton of competitive product testing when I ran R&D at that major salon brand I worked at, because it's very important to know what's going on. And we didn't just test like other salon products.
Yeah.
When Pantene launched their Gold series, now they have many versions.
Yes.
But their OG Gold series about 6 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, it tested so well in our product evaluation center. It just left most hair types feeling amazing.
Yeah.
It felt high quality, but the price point was just so affordable for all of the products. And we did the shampoos, the conditioners, the treatments, the masks, the leave-in styling products. We did everything, and everything rated really well.
I mean, we saw a similar experience. I mean, I don't know if we tested all of their products, but shampoo and conditioner blew everything out of the water, both, other mass products and salon products. So I've been a long time user and fan, and I continue to go back to it. I just think it leaves my hair feeling nice and it smells good. And the conditioner, I hate when conditioners leave my hair feeling like raspy. Sometimes it doesn't like have a good slip. Like, I think Pantene has a great slip. So it's my favorite. How about you? What are your preferences?
If you asked me in high school, I would have said Herbal Essence, the original fragrance, because this girl sat in front of me in physics class, and she had such long hair, and she would always flip it over her shoulders in class, and I never minded. It was so great, but the scent now is not the same, and fragrance regulations change. They didn't change it for nefarious reasons, right. So great. And the shampoo wasn't bad. And I remember using it in the clear bottles. And
100%. Yeah.
Then they got weird and went to all these other varietals, but the core Herbal Essence was great. But since probably 2005 or 6, I've been a huge fan of Garnier Fructis Sleek and Shine Smoothing Shampoo in the green bottle. And it has like an avocado or something on the front of it. Mm-hmm. I love it.
I'm a fan of their products too, and it's funny. I use their styling products. So for shampoo and conditioner, I use Pantene, and for styling, in fact, I just bought the curl cream from Garnier. And it smells amazing. It's like coconutty, and I don't know. I could like smell my own hair yesterday. It smelled delightful. So I'm a fan.
I'll have to give that a try. Yeah, I don't usually use too many leave-ins or stylers, but. I like the smell. I like that it leaves my hair really clean. Mm-hmm. And it also controls frizz thanks to some of the polyquaternium 10 and amodimethicone in it. Just a really great shampoo. I think you can get a big bottle for like $5.
Yes,
pretty amazing. Now, moving up into the more premium categories. Not ultra premium, but like if you were going to spend $30 to $40 on a shampoo, what would you be?
And I don't actually know if they make this anymore. It's been a while, but Paul Mitchell had this line for curly hair, and I loved it. And I honestly don't even know if they make it anymore, because I remember trying to find it and I couldn't, but it might have just been the Ulta I was at.
Was it white and purple?
Yes, it was white and purple.
The spring-loaded frizz-fighting curl shampoo.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They still make it.
Okay, yeah. Sounds like you might know a thing or two about that brand. But I liked their products. I used the whole line, the shampoo, conditioner, and they had like an air dry cream. And I liked it a lot. So I would say, and I'm glad to know they still make it, because I did like that product. So I would say that. And then Aveda has a curl conditioner that I like mostly for the fragrance, to be honest. Aveda's fragrances are always, I don't know, they're
very good.
To me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The conditioner, it's a little, I would say it feels a little waxy to me. I don't know if there's like dimethicone in there or not. I'd have to look at the ingredient label. It doesn't have the slip that I like from Pantene, but it's a nice conditioner. So I would say the Paul Mitchell line or the Aveda. I think it's called B Curl shampoo and conditioner.
I haven't tried that one. Yeah, the spring loaded, that was a formula you never remembered to use it until you had to, do something with it or check something out of production, or maybe we qualified a new raw materials supplier and we would batch it and make sure it performed the same. And when we would test it, I would be like, man, I forgot that this is actually like a really great product.
Yeah.
And then, but there's just so much other stuff
I know.
you could use.
I know. It's like there's so many, and I know you try a lot of different things. I'm kind of more tried and true, but that was a line that I kind of have to go to Ulta and see if I can get some, because I did like it. And my hair, as it gets more humid, is getting frizzier and frizzier. So anything to sort of tame the beast would be good.
Yeah, well, you can see how frizzy my hair is. The humidity in Texas is out of control, and all these little wisps that are now growing back in are in full force. Now, not for my hair, but I use it anyway. I really love the Kerastase Blonde Absolute Hydrating Illuminating Shampoo.
Wow. That's
probably
a mouthful.
I know. It's pretty expensive. I would actually say it's actually more in the premium category, but it's a clear shampoo. I think it's very cleansing, but it doesn't feel like so cleansing and stripping. Like if I'm going to deep clean my scalp, I would use like a Paul Mitchell shampoo one, like basic hardcore, not hardcore, but sulfate-free shampoo, not going to leave a lot of stuff behind.
Right.
And I feel like this does that, but it feels a little more creamy, luxurious on the hair, and I always feel really, really clean. I also love the corresponding, probably so even more like the conditioner that goes with it, because I feel like I have that, that slip and glide you feel when you use Pantene. Yeah, my hair just feels really soft. I really like, I don't get a lot of waxy residue behind. Sometimes the Aveda products do that as well, or like I just finished this banana conditioner from Germany. It's a long story anyway, but yeah, my hair feels waxy with that. But
yeah, Aveda does kind of have that feel, but I don't know if I've ever used Kerastase. That would be above what I would spend, but I might have to buy a small bottle. What makes it blonde? Like what you said is blonde illuminating. Is it targeting blondes, or like what's the deal?
They are targeting blondes, and I think they've colored it light purple because people associate purple with blonde.
Right.
Shampoos to like neutralize the hair, but it doesn't have purple colorant in it. It really, I think, is meant to be like a hydrating and strengthening shampoo. So it's really like what happens when you, and they do have a dark purple shampoo in the line, but it's like what happens when you are blonde. You've artificially lightened your hair. You have a lot of damage. It feels dry, and so it kind of counteracts that stuff.
Okay. I mean, I do dye my hair blonde, so maybe I should try it.
Yeah, maybe get the little bottle. When
I was going to say, I'll see if they have a trial size or a travel size, because Kerastase is pricey and probably not, much better than the Pantene I'm using. But I do like to experiment, so I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. Now, what is the most you would pay for a shampoo?
Oh, I mean, for a shampoo, honestly, like $10. I'm so cheap with shampoo. I just don't think it matters. Most of it washes down the drain. Like I just have I'm very, with shampoo, with conditioner, I'll spend a little more because I do have some like coarse frizzy hair. So I definitely need something to detangle and help.
It's left behind.
Right. And it's left behind. Like shampoo. No, I'm super cheap with shampoo.
I do try a lot of stuff only because I have to. I formulate for a lot of big hair brands, small hair brands, medium hair brands. And so you kind of always have to be on the up and up with what's going on. But I probably would spend like $28 out of pocket max on my own. But, because it's for work, I'll just... it's a business expense.
Yeah, 100%. So, and, and I've been lucky like you. I get to try stuff for free every so often. And, I do enjoy that. But on my own, like, and by choice, I buy, Pantene shampoo and conditioner. I will say with conditioner, I'm a little more open. I probably spend more like $20, $25 for a conditioner if I thought like, partly I just like to experiment, but it is for me, a benefit that I need. Like if I didn't use conditioner, I don't even think I could get a comb through my hair. It's a must have product for me.
Yeah. And honestly, I'll say I probably had different favorite shampoos when I lived in California because the water quality was different than Texas. And also the air has a different humidity level. Yes. And so that impacts your hair differently. So I've just found primarily even from the water, the stuff I would usually use in California, where I was like, wow, this shampoo is awesome. On the prestige level, like R&Co Blue, there was a shampoo I really loved. It just makes my hair feel really gross in Texas.
Yeah.
So
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
yeah. So that's been tough. I'm still trying to find like my holy grail. Also, I'm on a product buying ban, which I totally get until we can use some of the products up. And I'll be like to Mr. Cosmetic Chemist, babe, I finished a conditioner, and he's like, it doesn't matter. 2 more will show up. So he's not wrong.
Yeah, I know. Actually, it's funny, Valerie. I was cleaning out my bathroom, and I find these like half empty products. I'm like, maybe I should have used that before I bought something else. But I don't know. You go to Target and everything. It's just, I don't know. I like to experiment with beauty, obviously, and it's part of my job as a cosmetic chemist to know what's out there.
Exactly. Now let's talk medicated shampoos real quick. So a small subset of people do have dandruff.
Of course.
And I'm not talking you see a flake, oh my gosh, I have dandruff, I should go get a medicated shampoo. I don't agree with that. And, after looking at 7,000 scalps, I've seen a lot of stuff I can't unsee. Mostly has to do with poor hygiene, we'll call it, not getting in there and cleansing your scalp really well. But not many people actually have dandruff. So let's say a listener on the show, has dandruff. Mm-hmm. Would you go and get a Head and Shoulders with zinc pyrithione? Would you get like a Selsun Blue with selenium dioxide, I think it is? Would you get Nizoral? What would you get?
I mean, I have very limited experience with these products. And when I worked at a hair care company, we did not make medicated shampoo. I will say I personally have used Head and Shoulders. I had like I don't know. I was taking some medication that made my scalp super itchy. So I did use Head and Shoulders. And for me, within like a week, it was so much better. But that's, sort of a one-off experience. To me, Head and Shoulders is sort of the tried and true in the category, right? They're the category leader in that medicated shampoo space. I don't have a ton of experience. I don't know. Where are your thoughts on those products?
I've tried both. And to me, Selsun Blue is like a dude product. It just feels like not something that someone with a lot of hair would want to use.
And that's totally accurate.
So I feel like from that respect, Head and Shoulders, they really cater to like also improving the look and feel of hair, not just the scalp.
Yes.
So I like it for that reason. And now they have different scents. Before it just used to be like the OG Head and Shoulders, and now it's like you could get an apple scent or something like that.
Yeah, they've definitely worked to sort of beautify Head and Shoulders from the very like functional product that it once was to a more sort of beauty-driven dandruff shampoo. I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah. And Mr. Cosmetic Chemist, I know we're talking about like best shampoos for women. He uses Nizoral, which also I think is really just like scalp medication delivery focus. So if I were, I am a female, but if I had his scalp issues and, given I have a lot of hair, basically if you have a lot of hair, I probably would also recommend something, in addition to take care of your hair, because I think that stuff can make your hair feel really not great.
Right. Because there was even, it's been a while, but remember the Neutrogena, like tea gel, I think, was it the tea gel shampoo?
With the coal tar?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's still on the market, but that stuff, I feel like that's like my dad had that, and it felt like super drying product on your scalp.
I have done some work for another brand that makes a coal tar shampoo. And it's not an active I mentioned because, to me, it's just so repulsive. But I think men like it, particularly because when I actually worked, I helped a company reformulate their coal tar shampoo. They actually had some scale-up challenges and stuff. And so I fixed it for them. And when I was interviewing, the workers at the company, it smells like diesel. Okay.
Yes.
It's
it's not pleasant. No, it's not pleasant.
No, but they loved it because they're like, oh, it reminds me of like working on my car or like being in the garage with my dad as a kid. Okay, a lot of them use it on their beard to get rid of like the beard skin issues that men have. So very popular in the men's category and incredibly effective.
Yeah.
Incredibly effective. Yeah.
Interesting.
The other anti-dandruff active that I'm honestly not a fan of is salicylic acid.
Yes.
I just don't think those products work as well as zinc pyrithione in my experience.
Yeah. That makes sense. I don't have personal experience with those products, but just knowing how those ingredients work, it kind of makes sense. Yeah, Head and Shoulders again. I mean, kind of like Pantene. They're both P&G products, and I think they know what they're doing. They have good R&D. Mm-hmm. They make good hair care products, and I don't know. I think they're just it's hard to beat them, particularly on a blind basis from a consumer perception perspective.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have to try. Mr. Cosmetic Chemist is gonna kill me, but I feel like I want to expand my horizons a little bit more because I always recommend these products.
Yeah.
And get some like new favorites.
Oh, all right. Well, now you've inspired me. I'm gonna go to Ulta and check out. I just kind of go and buy what I'm used to buying. But I think I experiment in other categories, but hair care, I kind of just go with what works. So now I'm feeling inspired to try something new.
Cool. Well, summer is coming, so always good to try some new stuff.
Yeah, totally.
I know we talked SPF a little bit last time, but is there anything new you're using? Because it is important to use SPF every day, but particularly in summer.
Yes.
And so I wanted to know if anything new was in your rotation.
I got an opportunity to try a product that I'm really liking. I actually put some on today. It's from Elta MD. It's their face sunscreen. And it's their color correcting sunscreen, which, the color correcting products, I don't think they work that great, but this product is a really nice feel. It is a mineral-based sunscreen that goes on really nicely. You don't get sort of that chalky white cast that sometimes you get with a mineral-based sunscreen. I'm a fan. I've been using it regularly, and it has some skin sort of treatment properties as well. So it's hydrating as well, obviously, as SPF and a little bit of color correction. So that's been my newest product. I love the Supergoop Glow Screen product, but I've been using the Elta MD product lately. So those are kind of my two favorites.
Elta MD is an old favorite of mine, but unless Supergoop has changed formulations, I just can't get behind the texture. I just don't like the way it feels on my skin.
The viscosity is a little weird. It's a little runny. I love it because it has a little cosmetic benefits. So it makes my skin a little glowy and a little bit of coverage. So I love it. But the viscosity of it's a little off. I feel like sometimes the bottle explodes when I open it, it runs on my fingers. The Elta MD product to me is a perfect consistency. It's not too thick like some sunscreens could be, but it's not a super runny fluid as well. So I'm a fan. I've been using it for 2 or 3 weeks, and it's definitely going to be in the rotation, Valerie. How about you? What are you using?
I got to get back to the Elta MD. I've recommended it on the show for years because I love it. It's lightweight. It feels great. And it's just one that, I've used so many other sunscreens since I last used it because, we get free products for testing and stuff. And I literally yesterday was just my Murad sunscreen's almost empty. And I want to go back to something I love. And I think I should put that back in my rotation. I just finished the Alicia Keys sunscreen, which was actually a gift to me from the developers who made her line, and I actually kind of liked it. It was kind of waxy, but I liked it because I touch my face a lot, and it reminded me, do not touch your face.
Was it a little sticky or tacky then when you touched it?
No, it felt like I had a little wax layer on my skin.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which I think, was a great reminder, get your hands off your chin, because you could always tell based on the little, blackheads and clogged pores where I put my hand on my face.
Is the Alicia Keys, is it a mineral-based sunscreen? What's the active?
I actually think it is a combo, if I recall. So it has a little, zinc oxide TiO2 in it. Mm-hmm. It has, I think, some chemical filters, and this is going off memory, so I could be wrong. But I also liked it because it was in an airless tube, which means it's a tube that has a pump. Right. And as you pump it, the tube gets really flat and evacuated. That's one of my favorite packaging component types.
Yes, I would agree with that, because if it doesn't do that, you get a lot of product at the bottom that you can never get out. So the airless tube is nice.
And it doses it, yeah.
Yeah.
And I also was thinking I could go back to this Biossance mineral sunscreen that I used to use, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel inspiring. Maybe I could try Elta MD again. Or maybe there's just some new recommendations, we'll ask for on Instagram.
Yeah, well, this Elta MD is their newest. They've obviously had face sunscreens for a long time.
They're old ones, yeah.
Yes, but this is a newer variant, and it's, they're sort of touting these sort of skin treatment benefits, which I do feel like I notice when I use it. It feels more like a skin treatment cream or like a lotion, and less like a sunscreen. So you might want to give it a try, Valerie. I'd recommend it.
All right, and I'll sneak it in the house so Mr. Cosmetic
Yeah, that's right.
It's
small. It's small. You won't even notice.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the other thing is, do you wear? So I wear SPF, like the cream.
Right.
Do you believe in SPF foundations? Or what do you use? Do you wear makeup? Because I know makeup is good to block visible light, which contributes to pigmentation.
Yes, I love makeup. I will say that's my passion category and where I experiment the most. I wanted to wear makeup when I was 10 years old. My mom, she made me wait a little bit, but I just always loved makeup. So, and I have some redness in my skin, so I'm a little conscientious of covering it up. But I also don't want to use a heavy foundation. I actually really like It Cosmetics CC cream, which is
okay.
It has SPF. Now, I would say, in terms of SPF and foundation, you'd have to put a lot of foundation on to get enough SPF. So that's why I don't rely on foundation for SPF. I wear SPF under my foundation and put that on top. Now, It Cosmetics has, I think, a 30 SPF. And then obviously it's a coverage like a foundation, but it also has sort of there must be some mica in there or something. There's a little bit of a glowy aspect to the product.
I haven't liked that one. I've tried that one before. Okay. And it was just, obviously I think it's for more mature skin. And I tried it when it first came out, and I was just it's not the texture I like.
Okay. Yeah. And a lot of it is texture, right? I like it because I feel like it goes on easily. Sometimes foundation feels like it doesn't spread well, so you really have to work hard to blend it. To me, the It Cosmetics CC cream blends well, and I like that it makes my skin feel a little more luminous, especially here in the winter in Chicago. It's so dry. I definitely am looking for any sort of glow aspect I can, and any extra hydration, because my skin gets so dry here in the winter. In the summer, I'm a little less apt to use it because, my skin's already a little more glowy because of the humidity. So I don't need that as much, but that's probably one of my favorite products. And then if I want a true foundation, I use L'Oreal Infallible.
L'Oreal Infallible, okay.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And I use Dior, I've used NARS, I've used a lot of the high-end products. I think L'Oreal does a nice job. The challenge with a lot of buying foundation at Target or Walmart is you can't test the shade prior to purchase.
Yeah.
So once you find your shade, there's not a big difference. In L'Oreal, they make Lancome foundation. They're using similar formulas across brands. It's just the challenge of finding the right shade for your skin. And I think the L'Oreal product has SPF too. I can't recall, but like I said, I don't think, unless you wear a lot of foundation, I don't think you're getting enough SPF just from foundation.
Now, my problem with makeup is I want to experiment with it.
Yeah.
But I just, I'm not I got a D in art in 8th grade. And I'm just not good with the visual aspect, because a lot of makeup is knowing the right placement and
yes.
And all that kind of stuff. And I just get nervous. I bought a lot of makeup that I've never used. And, I do actually want to wear more foundation, but my problem is coverage. And so I've been using the Beauty Blender. They have this little foundation fluid, and I put a little bit in my sunscreen sometimes. Just to help, because I have a lot of rosacea, and I have a little issue right now where I'm getting a huge rosacea flare up.
Okay.
And my face is just so red, but I don't want coverage. So without spending a ton of money, do you have any recommendations that I could try where it's like light coverage, but I look healthy and not inflamed?
Yeah, I mean it's a balance because I have that similar issue. I have rosacea in my cheeks, and I don't want to have a full face of makeup on the regular. So like to me, a BB or CC cream, and I actually with the Elta MD sunscreen that has the color correcting, and then putting like a lighter. And even if you tried like a tinted moisturizer, like I used to like the Laura Mercier tinted moisturizer. I think it's expensive,
Yeah.
but it does a nice job of giving you a little bit of coverage without feeling like overly made up, and it kind of tamps down some of the redness, from rosacea, or even just, being hot in the summer, just kind of, toning that down. But I mean, the last time I bought a Valerie, I think it was like $50, the Laura Mercier
Yeah.
tinted moisturizer, which is pricey. So
See, on hair, I have no problem spending money.
see, that's so funny. I'm the opposite. Like
Skincare, I'll spend a little bit of money, not a ton. But makeup, I'm like, come
see,
on, guys.
no, that's so funny. I'm the opposite. But I definitely do a high-low strategy with makeup. I have e.l.f., I have Maybelline, I have L'Oreal, but I have NARS and, Laura Mercier and, some of the high-end brands too. I don't know. I am like a makeup junkie, and I just love going to Sephora and looking at all the pretty products. And so it's definitely my weakness, Valerie's makeup. Valerie, have you tried the e.l.f. brand in terms of, because they do a lot of dupes of high-end products.
Okay.
So I don't know if you're a fan of e.l.f., but I think they do a really nice job. And in particular, like Charlotte Tilbury has this, like, I think that it's called like Halo Filter or Glow Filler. And it's like a luminizer for highlighting, if you're into contouring or whatever, but it's like $50 or $55. And e.l.f.
Oh, Charlotte Tilbury's expensive. I didn't realize
Very
how expensive
expensive.
they were until we got questions from fans. And I'm like, they have this magic cream. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yes, it's expensive. And I'll be honest. I mean, I've used some of their products. They're fine. I wouldn't buy them personally. I've used prestige makeup that I think was better just in terms of packaging and quality. Like, I don't know. But this glow product they have is sort of one of their like iconic products. And e.l.f. has a dupe called their Halo. I think it's Halo Glow. And it's like packaged the same. And it's
wow.
$14. I mean, I think it's a great product. And it's a liquid highlighter product that you sort of dab on, almost like you were applying a concealer. And I kind of put it like where I want a little glow, like on my cheeks and my nose. And I like it. And I also like they're doing lip oils, which like Christian Dior has their whole line of lip oils, which again are like, $30 or $40 for a little lip oil, and e.l.f.'s are like $8. And I don't know. I think e.l.f. does a nice job if you're looking to experiment in beauty and cosmetics, but don't want to spend a ton of money, especially if you're not sure you're going to like something. e.l.f. I think is at a great price point, super accessible. So I'm a fan, and they're doing a good job of sort of duping sort of these iconic prestige products.
Oh, I didn't realize. I mean, I knew e.l.f. was like a more entry price point makeup brand. And I would say I tried some of their products many years ago when the brand first kind of hit big in Target. And I don't recall this product though. And maybe they came out with it more recently.
This is new. And honestly, I was looking at some like research, just like, IRI data of cosmetics, and across mass brands, e.l.f. is significantly outperforming pretty much everybody in the mass makeup category. And I think it's because they're doing a great job of sort of hitting the trends that are happening in prestige and higher, sort of these high-end products at an accessible price point. And I do think they've evolved, Valerie, since when they first launched, because I remember trying them again when they first came to Target. I wasn't overly impressed, but I've gone back to them in the past year, and I've been really happy. I have some fun lip oils. I have the Halo highlighter.
Okay.
And the eyeshadow, they have the eyeshadow cream sticks, which I really like. And, I used to use the Laura Mercier and the Bobbi Brown cream eyeshadow sticks. And again, those are $25, $30 for a little eyeshadow stick. And, I like them, but the e.l.f. works just as well. And it's $10. So
So,
sold.
okay, on the Halo Glow liquid filter, I want to come
Yeah.
back to the eyeshadows in a
Yes.
second because
Okay.
literally last week, I'll share it in a second. But on the Halo Glow liquid filter, so if I use like a SPF with zinc oxide and titanium dioxide,
Yeah.
and I needed to put a little color back, the Halo Glow liquid filter, I would just put it in the spots I want a little dimension back on my face.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a highlighter, so it's not giving you. Now they do have different shades. I kind of use their neutral shade because I use a bronzer for color.
Oh, okay.
But if you want that like a little bit of glow, the challenge is you have to have a light hand or else at least your face gets a little shiny looking. It's easy to use. It's like a wand applicator, so you can really just highlight those areas that you want a little extra glow.
All right.
I think it's worth a try. Like I said, it's a very affordable price point. And I had a sample of the Charlotte Tilbury product, and to me, I couldn't tell the difference. Like in a blind test, I don't think I could tell a difference.
And yeah, you're trained in evaluation, so that's awesome. Okay, so I'll give that a try, and for $14, it can't hurt.
Right,
And I'll probably watch a YouTube video on it. But going back to eyeshadows, literally a couple weeks ago, maybe even a couple months ago, I got some prototypes from a cosmetic pigment supplier for a cream eyeshadow stick. And I was like, man, when I was in high school, I used to wear cream eyeshadow all the time. High school and college, because it was so easy to apply.
Yes.
And you just have to be careful it doesn't crease. But they've been harder to find in the last like 10 years. And so I've just been kind of going back to like powder eyeshadow, but I don't know, just like doesn't feel great. And I'm like a cream blush person.
Yeah, I like cream products in general as well, so I'm with you.
Okay, so e.l.f. has some cream eyeshadows.
Yes, and they're in the stick format, and I think the stick format is making a comeback. I've been seeing a lot more of it. I have the e.l.f. ones. I also have some from MAC, actually. I will say the MAC eyeshadow sticks, there's a lot of color variety. e.l.f. I think just has a few. Like that's my only issue with e.l.f. is they just have a few neutral shades. MAC has a better shade selection, but that's kind of what they're known for too is, eyeshadow. They have every color of eyeshadow known to him. Yeah, exactly. So I have some of the MAC eyeshadow sticks as well. But like I remember using the cream ones in high school and they would crease so bad. The aesthetics of these products have gotten better. Like I don't have trouble with the creasing as much. I remember I would come home and there would just be like a crease of eyeshadow like where
I know. I would check the whole day. Like I still do it now where I just rub my eyelid crease even though I'm not wearing eyeshadow or even if I wear powdered eyeshadow because I'm like so paranoid about the line.
Yes. I find that the product aesthetics have gotten better. They don't crease as bad. And sometimes, what I do before, here's a little insider tip, is I'll take my setting powder and I put a little bit of powder on my eyelid before I put the cream on. So it helps prevent creasing as well. So,
All right.
Insider tip, Valerie.
I don't have setting powder, but I'm sure e.l.f. has one if I went to Target.
Yeah, I do. I will say I use the Laura Mercier setting powder. And this is why I did. At my previous company, I had to do some media. So I went through some media training. And they were like, your face is so shiny. All the people like at the the news station, they all use Laura Mercier setting powder to reduce like the shine. So I was like, well, I better get this product. So, and it lasts forever, Valerie, but it's a very, very fine powder.
Yeah.
That's what I was told is like all the people on the news or whatever, so they don't have shiny skin, wear Laura Mercier setting powder.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for the tips. Yeah, I'm just not a makeup experimenter. And like I said, it's a very nerve-wracking experience for me. Yeah. But I'll give them a try and report back.
You should. And I just saw the other day, and this is, again, I saw this on Instagram, Valerie, but an AI that takes a picture of your face and then tells you how to apply makeup. Like where you should put the products based on your features. I haven't tried it. I was going to ask,
did you try it first?
I think I'm going to have to try it.
Maybe we should have Carrie try it.
That would be hilarious because I remember trying one of those apps, and this was several years ago. Obviously, AI and technology is so much better, but it was like some makeup try-on app, and it was just terrible. I looked like a clown. It was like ridiculous. So I haven't tried any since, but I do feel like as I get older, I should change how I wear my makeup, and I haven't I really haven't changed my makeup strategy since I was younger. So I'm thinking of trying this, and I'll report back to see if it actually works, because I'm skeptical but curious.
Please let me know, because I'm talking about products I used 20 years ago, and I'm like, they were so amazing. And you're right, technology's come a long way.
Yes,
we're getting older. We've lost fat in our face. Our skin hits in different spots. We have a lot more hyperpigmentation than we used to have to. And so, you have to change the makeup strategy. I actually just saw it's related to hair color, but the actress from Gilmore Girls.
Oh, one of my favorite shows of all time.
Who's the lead actress? Alex.
Alex Alexis Bledel, right?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Her. There was a picture of her with like really light orange blonde hair almost. And I was just like, gosh, who is that actress? And I couldn't recognize her. I mean, she looked in her 50s in this photo. Wow. And the Instagram story was like, the wrong hair color can really age you. And so they did some AI manipulation to her color to show that actually for her skin color and where she's at with her skin, slightly darker or even more like cool would have been like a better fit for her. And it literally took 10 years off of her. It was really incredible. So same with makeup. Exactly. So please let me know how it works.
I will.
Well, there's the music. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed Product Talk. Perry will be back next week. He can't do too much joggling with his knee. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you can get a chance, please head over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. That's going to help other people find the show and ensure we have a full docket of beauty questions to answer. Speaking of questions, we love other voices on the show. It's why I invited Sarah today. Just record one on your smartphone and email it to thebeautybrains@gmail.com, or just use the form in the show notes of this episode. Don't forget to follow us on our various social media accounts. On Instagram, we're at thebeautybrains 2018. On X, we're at thebeautybrains. On Bluesky, we're at thebeautybrains. We have a Facebook page and a TikTok. All right, well, thanks again for listening, everyone. And remember, be brainy about your beauty.
Kittens.